Okay everyone, so in this next lesson, let's go and try to work on the coding challenge that I gave you. And I'm hoping that you were able to find out on how we can go and perform the implementation of the requirements that were given to you by your client. As your client, I told you that I would want the sign up and sign in buttons to be dynamic from where when the user hovers on top of them, they will be showing the user as if it's moving up, and once we click on it, it should be moving down. Now let's try to go and implement the requirement of your client from where we will need to go and add some dynamic effect in our sign in button. So we will be targeting here the pseudo class element hover, and we can go and use the transform property with the value translate y, and I'm going to give this a 20 pixel value and a box shadow of 0, 5 pixels, 5 pixels, RGBA 0, 0, 0, 0.6. So I'm sure you know these properties so far. We have tackled them. And let's go and give this a transition all 0.2 seconds here for the animation. Now, if we try to go and refresh our browser, let's try to do that here and refresh. And now if we try to hover on top of it, you would see now that we have the effect from where the button is moving upward. So once we hover on it, it seems like it's hovering. But we can still try to improve this by playing around with the box shadow. If you remember in our box shadow property lecture, this is a good way for us to signify the lighting, the direction of the light, so that we can go and maximize the use of the box shadow for emphasizing how our element is moving away from our screen here or from the body background. So let's go and try to implement the changes that we need. So the only change that I would want to implement here will be to replace the blur radius here to 3 pixels, or let's say 2 pixels. Let's go back to our code here and refresh. And now you would see that the blur has been decreased. And once we try to hover on top of it, it seems like the element is being emphasized as if it's moving upward through the use of the blur effect that we implemented, that we decreased in our anchor element. Now we just need to go and try to implement the same code inside of our sign up button here. So let's go back to our code editor and try to do the exact same thing here. So we do have here the 10 pixels for the blur radius. I would want to replace that with 2 pixels. And this one, I'm just going to copy this and then put it down here so that the document flow will be following the same flow that we had in our markup. And now let's try to go to our browser and let's check if it will work the same way. Okay, so it's working. So that will be all for this lesson now, everyone. And in the next lesson, we'll try to go and add the effect from where once we try to click on it, it will have an effect as if it's moving downward.